I wanted to record the Putting Lectures Online seminar, and so I thought it would be worth sharing how I did that, and I had a choice. I could have just recorded the audio from the session and married up the slides. In the event, I decided that I would record some video, but only using very simple digital cameras like these. All you do with these is you switch them on, point them in the right direction, press the red button to start it recording, and then press it again to stop recording. Of course, sitting there holding that and pointing it in the right direction for 90 minutes would be a bit tiring, so they do have a tripod socket in the bottom, and I mounted them on simple camera tripods. You can pay a lot of money for a very lightweight camera tripod that's easy to carry, but the heavy tripods are actually better for this purpose because you want something stable and you're not going to be carrying it anywhere. Of course, it could have been more complicated. I could have gone for posher, more expensive equipment, and ideally I'd have got someone to point the camera in the right direction, so I'd have had, in effect, cameramen on each camera. I did have a couple of cameras, partly so I could use two different camera angles, and also partly so that I had some redundancy if one of them stopped working for some reason. Now, another thing about having a camera like this at the back of the room is that although it'll get a nice wide shot, and wherever your presenter goes, they won't necessarily appear very big on the screen. And also, the little microphones in here only really pick up if you put the camera right close up to someone, so they're speaking straight into it. So I placed an audio recorder on the desk in front of the speakers, and this was an audio recorder with good quality condenser microphone in it, because getting good quality audio is perhaps one of the most important things for recording a lecture in this way. Now what that meant was afterwards I had to combine the video and the slides with the audio track, so I spent some time putting that together in a video editing package. In this case I used iMovie, which comes free with Macintosh computers, but you can do something similar in Windows Movie Maker or other simple video editing packages. At this point I also got the slides from the presenter, so I could add in some of the slide information. Some of the things that didn't work well were actually nothing to do with particularly the technology I used so much as the design and setup of the room. For example, the lighting on the presenters was not so good. That's partly because you need the lights to be off near the screen because you want the slides to show up so that the people in the room can see them clearly. If you turn all the lights on, then the slides won't show well, but if you turn all the lights off, then it's very hard for your camera to pick up your presenter. So if you do want to capture video, then ideally you want to have a light that is spotlighting the presenter. Again, that can be a difficulty if your presenter strides around. Another thing that didn't work too well was during the question and answering sessions, not all of the questions were picked up because I had one microphone at the front of the room, and if I wanted to get a really good quality audio recording, I would have had a handheld microphone that each questioner would have spoken into, and therefore I'd have probably had someone running around holding the microphone in front of them for that. For each of the question and answer sessions, I made audio-only recordings. Part of the reason for that was because the audio in some places needed quite a lot of editing and work to bring the questions up to an audible standard. In fact, some of them I couldn't use. But also partly because I didn't have video cameras trained on the questioners, so there'd only be partial video for those sections. And because there were no slides there, in fact there was no real additional information to be conveyed through video. Another thing that didn't work too well was during the question and answering sessions, not all of the questions were picked up because I had one microphone at the front of the room, and if I wanted to get a really good quality audio recording, I would have had a handheld microphone that each questioner would have spoken into, and therefore I'd have probably had someone running around holding the microphone in front of them for that. Having said that, you could put a lot of effort into getting the perfect recording when all you really need is to convey the important information over to your audience. So having put together my video in iMovie, I then exported those videos and uploaded them onto YouTube so that people would be able to access them. I divided the session into a video for each presenter, so it would be easy for people to access the bits they were interested in, and also a separate audio-only section for the questions and answers. Since I was sharing things on YouTube, I made a video using a still image with the audio track so that I could upload it to YouTube. I then had a collection of YouTube videos from the session which I have embedded on a page on the Learning and Teaching support site. But I can now also share links to each of those individual videos to anyone who I think might be interested in a particular aspect from that session.